After I've tapered the metal object, what we're going to do is create a surface with which to create the cutout in SketchUp, that gap that's in the metal edge. So what I did is I created a 10 millimeter wide just object that's going to represent the cut, the material we're going to remove later. This is built up right across the red axis, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and move it along that red axis right back to the origin. Because I made this 10 millimeters wide and large enough to intersect with my object, what I'm now able to do is to have it intersect with its selection. So when I pull this object away, this separate grouped object, both of these were grouped to start, as you can see by when I click on them. And now what it's done is it's laid geometry right on top of that object. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one, I'm going to explode it, and with that exploded, I now have access to these elements. Whoops. I should have access to erase these elements. One thing it did not do, I'm going to select them all, and now I'm going to merge these two together because one was on the outside of that object and one was on the inside. So with the selection. I had to right click and explode the curve because it wasn't allowing me to snap to grab these little segments. So I'm going to hit right click and hit explode curve. And what it does is that when you come back, it allows you to grab the smaller pieces that make up that curve. Yeah, so for some reason the curves haven't been cut or intersected with, so I'm going to explode it. When I come back, I can now get rid of that little bit of geometry that is proving to be the problem. All of these circular edges, though, will need to be exploded and deleted. Hopefully that was the right one. Nope. Right click, explode, and then select the small pieces to get that stuff eliminated. Explode and start to delete everything else. So all those circles require one extra step for some reason, but it's not too difficult to clean that up. You could use the eraser tool after you explode them all. So it looks like everything worked out well here, except I have an open face, and if everything was deleted properly, I should be able to trace over this line and have them snap right back into place. Or trace over to this line. Whoops, that trace didn't work out well. And have it snap back into place. All right, so I now have a nice 10 millimeter wide, should be 10 millimeters wide, yep, cut that comes across the geometry of that round object. And if you do it correctly, you'll be able to snap right into two solid surfaces on the inside edge. If you don't do this process, we regularly have difficulty closing those surfaces. So I recommend you create this outside group, you intersect the two groups, and then delete where they overlap to create this solid object with a cut.